on August 25th, as amended. Consider report 7.2, Pleasure Valley Road petition, OFSC, at the September 8th meeting to allow the parties to appear as delegations. All in favor of the agenda as amended? Okay, that is carried. Okay, so we will now move to item 4. Oh, any conflict of interest? Yes, Councillor Alphick.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I do have a conflict of interest tonight on item number 10.1. And I've submitted the forms to the clerk's office.
All right, thank you. All right, so then we move along to delegations. So tonight, we're fortunate to have a delegation from Barry's Construction. Stuart Doyle is going to discuss with us his plans on the subdivision on the North Hill of town, close to the water tower. So I see Mr. Doyle's logged on. So Mr. Doyle, welcome to the Brockton Council meeting.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. It's been about 3 years since I've been in front of council, and things have changed a little bit. And here I am sitting in my office 5 minutes from home. I don't have to drive all the way down to Walker, and I kind of miss going out for dinner down there. So hopefully we can get back to normal again shortly here. But nice to see everyone again. Just some new faces since the last time I've been around, but thanks for having me. I'm still working on to get the right angle for the Zoom meeting, so I'm moving this iPad a little bit to the left and the right sometimes, but this is the best you're going to get. So the reason for coming before you guys this evening is really the draft plan that we're working up on in Walkerton there, and most of you guys are aware of it. We had back in March, we worked with your team, with staff and council, to purchase another piece of land to add to this development. And that was great. It really helps us on that Cunningham Road extension. I'm not sure if everybody has access to the draft plan that was on the agenda to see that, but it's the, back in March, those 22 lots on the far east of the development is what that parcel of land that we purchased from the town, or sorry, from the municipality, which allows us to have development on either side of Cunningham Road, which makes a big difference to us and hopefully you guys when we finally get to that. So the matter at hand tonight is our draft plan runs out in September, and we've been working hard to get it going, but unfortunately right after the land sale agreement was finalized and approved by council in March, COVID hit and everything got shut down, and we were really unable to get much work done and carry on with the revised drawings, revised stormwater, and all that type of information that we need to submit to county. It's been great though through the shutdown or through the slowdown, whatever we're going to call it, the town staff and county staff have been able to keep us going somewhat and answer our questions when we need them. But unfortunately, some of the firms are down skeleton crews at the time, and it was pretty difficult to get work out of it. So last week we were able to submit our revised draft plan so that the county and the town or municipality could get some comments, and we're hoping to meet with both groups in the next week or two to go over those and figure out if everybody's on the same page, and that way we get the final application in. In years past, we've requested 3-year extensions to try to get us the work done. That works. We're a long way on there. We're not looking for that. We're just looking for 1 year here. Give us a couple months to get the planning application in, and I don't think we'll need another extension because the draft plan amendment or red line revisions as it is will take care of that, so we won't have to come back before council for that purpose again. So that's really all we're asking is an extension of 1 year. Probably don't need that, but I think that's the way they work. And then defer back when we did the road transfer agreement. I don't know if everybody's aware of that agreement. Back in 2008, we transferred 2 pieces of the road back, the future road back to Brockton. And at that time, council put a clause in saying, if we ask for another extension, it would cost us a $10,000 fee. I think that was pretty much to keep our feet to the fire, which I don't think is a bad idea. However, I think with extenuating circumstances in 2020, I think maybe deferring that just to line up with the next extension would be helpful. And again, I don't foresee us having to use that or come back to council. So pretty much that's what we're looking for tonight. And I continue, thanks so much for your support for this development. Thanks so much for for working with us on the land sale. And it continues to be positive, and we're looking forward to getting going here. So thank you. And any questions, I'm definitely here to answer anything.
All right. Well, once again, thank you, Mr. Doyle, and thank you to your company for showing interest in investing in our town. I certainly really appreciate it, and it shows some confidence in our area. We certainly are booming this year, and so we're glad to welcome another developer to town, because I know some of those lots in town are filling up very quickly. So let's get some feedback from council on your request. Anybody from council have any questions, Mr. Doyle? Councillor Adams.
Yeah, hi, Stuart. Steve Adams here. I was on council last term, and when you were talking to us last time, I know that you had some challenges, and then we've got the road agreement and so on. But I always ask the same question. I'll ask it again. Back in 17, we asked, when do you think you could get in the ground? And I think back that point, you thought it might be within a year. I know you've got a few pieces that you have to work on, and COVID slowed you down. Is there a good chance that you'll get shovels in the ground next year? And I know there's a few things like amending the zoning bylaw, amending official plan, but it'd be wonderful to see. As Mayor Peabody said, sales are going very well in Brockton, in Walkerton, and we really look forward. You've got a beautiful piece of property up there. It'll be a wonderful subdivision, and I just can't wait for it to get going. So I guess I'm just wondering if you think there's a pretty good chance you'll get shovels in the ground to get started next year.
We're certainly excited about it too, and thanks for the question through you, Mr. Mayor. We want to keep working at it. I don't see why not. I think the planning process, if we do it well and keep at it, we should be able to get that through the winter. It just depends how long that takes. Sometimes I'm not as much in control of that as I am the schedule. So I'd like to, in speaking with the CEO and staff the last time, we're looking at a 3-phase development. We'd like to get phase 1 in next year or early the year after, and I don't see why we wouldn't. It really just depends how long that official plan amendment, which is a bit tricky, the zoning amendment and the red line revisions take. So there's a public process there. I can't control how fast that goes, and the way things are right now, it's not always just as easy as it was. I don't mean easy as a process, but easy as to predict the timelines. But I don't see why
sooner than later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. Are there any other questions? Councillor Lang.
Hi, Stuart. I'm new to this term of council. I wasn't a part of a lot of the discussions prior to. I think a lot of concern is the road getting through there, and we want to make sure that gets through there in a timely manner as well, so that we can carry on or develop in that area as well. I'm in support of you, Stuart, pushing this another year and waiving the $10,000, but with an understanding for sure that we're going to have something. I mean, this year's been difficult, of course, with what's happened with COVID, like Councillor Adams said, there was a time that was discussed that it was going to be a year at that time. So we don't want to keep having conversation that it's going to be another year. And I know there's some planning issues that you have to go through, or challenges, maybe not issues, some challenges for time, and you talk more on a schedule. But I'm in support of you, Stuart, and your group getting this off the ground as well. And I'd be open to the year and waiving that fee, but I would really like a more of a concrete for sure that something's going to happen next year.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, with respect to the connecting road, I think a big step was taken back in late 2018 when the road transfer took place. That gave Brockton a little bit more control on that road extension. So most of that's back in your hands. Certainly phase 1 won't address that, but it'll get us 100 meters closer to it as well. So yeah, no, we're gonna push it, and we just need to get this planning over with, and yeah, keep moving.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchin.
Thank you. I do agree with what Councillor Adams and Lang both said, but I'm not in favor of waiving the fine completely. I think deferring is the right term for 1 year. But I agree, we really need to see some shovels in the ground next summer. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, now, okay, so as I said, Mr. Doyle, I'm certainly very supportive of working with you, and I think the imposing that $10,000 fine now would be counterproductive, because this council has been telling the development community we're open for business, and we've got lots of stuff going on, as I said. So, Ms. Watson, what we're going to do with that, if council wanted to accommodate Mr. Doyle, is there a motion tonight or not? I know it was amended. Are we going to wait?
Yeah, there is because it's related to negotiations on agreement, that part is discussed in closed. And we'll receive council's direction on moving that forward. If council wanted to just defer the payment for a year, we'd have to work out a new agreement, just an amended agreement with Stuart to give him the year for the waiving of the fine.
Okay, so I think it's Mr. Doyle. Council will discuss it, and then we'll have a motion, but I think it's clear that council is moving in favor of accommodating your request tonight, but we'll have to discuss it and then pass a motion.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for your time and your patience, and definitely your understanding.
Okay, and I just wanted to add one more thing. The development was also delayed a little bit because I think those we had to remember we had to do a second study on the bobolink up there. Can't forget the bobolink. It delayed things, not just coronavirus. So that's all covered now. So we're all clear with the bobolink. We got lots more bobolink habitat for our developers, because we just love the bobolink here in Brockton. So we've got that covered. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Doyle.
Take care. Have a good evening.
Glad to have your development.
See you.
Bye. For sure.
Can we have a motion to make the bobolink our official bird?
I think that would be good. We should have some branding and a flag.
We already have the fish, okay?
Fish.
You can't have both.
Okay. All right, moving along then to our council minutes from 2 weeks ago, moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Hutchin, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton adopt the minutes of August 11, 2020 council meeting as presented. All those in favor? Okay, that motion is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Anybody have anything to point out? No. Okay, so that moves us quickly into the reports for tonight. We've got the Grey County Transit. Moved by Councillor Lang, seconded by Councillor Lyso, that Council of Brockton hereby receives report number PW 2020-24, Grey County Transit Route and Bruce County Master Transportation Plan prepared by Greg Fertney, Director of Operations, for information purposes. Okay, any questions? There's some stuff on the news today about the transit line. Any questions? Okay, so that's just for information then. Okay, all those in favor of accepting the report then? Okay, that's carried. Okay, report 7.2 will be dealt with on the 8th. Crosswalk. Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Elphick, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton hereby approves report number PW 2020-23 crosswalk at Hink Street and Cemetery Road update prepared by Callie Mann, Municipal Executive Coordinator, and in doing so, direct staff to conduct pedestrian and traffic counts upon the start of the new school year. Okay, questions from Council. Councillor Elphick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to commend the staff for the report and for all the work they put in over the last number of weeks in identifying and working through this issue. There's certainly been lots of discussion on it. I support the report to collect the data, but I do still have some concerns with the visibility and the signage in this corridor. And I'm wondering if Director Fertney could comment on what other options might be available to us in the short term, or what else might be potential to increase the visibility of this crossing in particular.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Elphick. After doing a fair bit of research, there is one other option we can look at for a temporary fix. something that's relatively inexpensive, and something that we could obviously do within our current operating budget. And that is a warning signs. They look very similar to crosswalk signs, but they don't have any wording on them. And we could easily put them up, and they could be used in the future to identify the crosswalk when and if council decided to go in that direction in 2021. So I can certainly support and comment. The only issue I want to make very clear is that warning signs are not enforceable. They don't have any legal bound restrictions. They're purely just to warn vehicle traffic of residents crossing in that area. That's purely the only thing they would do, but they would certainly signal to the vehicle traffic that there are people crossing ahead. And we just purchased and put up a couple of signs, which we could do fairly quickly. We already have the locates in process for these new signs. Unfortunately, we don't have them in stock, but I can certainly get them ordered very quickly upon council's direction.
And certainly I would very much be in favor of that. For council that haven't traveled this roadway recently, there actually is no signage from Yonge Street to the Hinks corridor that would identify either it being a school zone or that there might be increased pedestrian traffic. So I think what Director Courtney is suggesting as an interim solution is fantastic. The signage that's being proposed can be used in the future again. It's not going to be lost cost for us down the road should council actually determine that there is a need for a formalized crosswalk there. And at that later point in time, we would have more data as well on the number of pedestrians that are traveling over this roadway. So I'm certainly in support of that, and I'd ask fellow councilors to also support erecting the additional signage in this area.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchin.
There is a sign there that says community safety zone, fines doubled and the speed is reduced to 40. So that should alert most people, but I'm fully in support of additional warning signs, and hopefully as soon as possible before the school starts, maybe.
Okay, so we had two requests for the signs. Mr. Ferdy, so we're going to accommodate, are we able to accommodate that then, as you said, just to confirm that, the signs?
Yes, we can certainly accommodate those two signs, and if that's council's will, I can order them tomorrow.
Okay, all right. And then we have the recommendation for the traffic counts in the motion. So if there's no more questions, all those in favor? Okay, that's carried. Okay, we have a few motions regarding Lake Roslyn parking. And Councillor Adams has done some work on this. So we'll be moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor Light. So that the motion deals with report CLK 2020 Lake Roslyn Road parking restrictions feedback and identified as 7.11 under reports August 11th that was tabled be taken from the table for the purposes of a vote. Okay, so all those in favor, take that off the table. And then we have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, second by Councillor Hutchin, that the council hereby receives report number CLK 2025 Lake Roslyn Road parking restrictions feedback prepared by Sarah Johnson, Junior Deputy Clerk, and Greg Fertney, Director of Operations. And in the last motion, it did read, and in doing so approves no further parking restrictions along Lake Roslyn Road 1. Now, Councillor Adams has a motion where he's done some homework and visited with the Lake Roslyn Property Owners Association that he would like to. So we've got the two motions here. So I think we could defeat the first one. That would probably be the correct order since it was on the last meeting. If that's the direction people would like to take, if you've read Councillor Adams' subsequent motion. Councillor Adams, if you'd like to speak to that and
Sure.
address the first motion.
Is this the one we're looking at potentially defeating? The one that said no restrictions?
It would be the one you're looking at defeating, since it would.
Yes.
Yes.
So just to give a really quick synopsis, we tabled the motion. Mayor Peabody and I knew that there was a motion from the association late last summer, early fall, where they wanted the restrictions put on. They thought that it was going through. They touched base with us, with Mayor Peabody, myself, earlier in the year, and they were kind of waiting for it to happen. We had to put it in the buzz. Most of them didn't respond to it, thinking it was just going through. So Mayor Peabody and I, after last meeting, had an on-site meeting with the leadership of the Property Owners Association, the president, one of the directors, and they again asked for safety reasons to have the restrictions put in place. I personally had taken pictures of a trailer on that road, on Road 1, right at the bend, and I was able to get my car through, but it would be very difficult to get an ambulance through or a fire truck through, and if there were vehicles on both sides, you couldn't. And as they said, it would take time to find people with the keys to move them and so on. So for safety reasons, they would like to see that put in place. And we actually went back and double checked with the leadership to make sure, because there's some new people on the directorship for the Property Owners Association. So we asked the president and the director we talked to go back and make sure that this is a sound, concrete requirement to put restrictions on, so that staff don't hear about it in the back end. This is a request through the association. I think it makes sense. It's for safety. We're always backing safety initiatives. And so we wanted to make sure we closed all the loops though. So our staff doesn't hear it, as I said, through the back end. This is a request and we're fulfilling that request. And I think it makes sense. But just so everyone knows the background and the history, this has been ongoing now for almost a year. And Mayor Peabody, I don't know if you want to add anything to this, but I think we held the process well. I think we did the protocols well. We wanted to make sure that it was sound and that it had the backing, still had the backing of that leadership, and it does.
Yeah, so if you're on site there, you can notice there are a lot of, it's a narrow road and there are a lot of curves, and it has the highest volume of traffic out there. Councillor Elphick.
So, Mr. Mayor, I was just, I also took a look at the area, and my concern is with the stretch that, it's going to eliminate parking on the entire west side of that Road 1. I'm wondering if consideration was given at all in the discussions with the Property Owners Association around identifiable areas in that stretch of roadway where parking could still occur safely, because I'm wondering about people having insufficient parking as well. And I certainly don't want signs to go up with just people being, they're going to park on the road and there'll be a lack of enforcement, which is of course a cost consideration for the municipality. So I'm just wondering if there was consideration in the conversations with the Property Owners Association about having designated zones, 1 or 2 along that large stretch to say that, we can put 2 parking spaces in here and identify them, so that anyone who doesn't have parking on the property that they're visiting or at, that they know where to park. Otherwise, it seems the only available parking is going to be immediately off of the roadway by the mailbox area. Seems to be where there would be parking left on the west side. So I'm just wondering if that was a consideration.
Well, we did discuss that with them, and they preferred it because of the bends in the road all the way from Road 6 to Road 2. And there is parking then on the east side. And there was no parking restrictions where there's no houses from Road 2 to Marl Lakes Road. So if people were to have a large gathering, people could park there, and they could share rides farther in. I know on Road 7 that was done this week, there was a large party at the end of Road 7, and there's no parking on Road 7, and so they had people park way at the other end and transport people in golf cart back and forth. So that was discussed with the President Statlander.
and I'll just say I'm in favor of the restrictions. I just wanted to be sure that we canvassed at the very least, designated zones.
And then even after the meeting, Steve did another double check with them. So, okay, so if council wishes to support Councillor Adams and his initiative on this, they need to, they can vote to defeat this because there's a subsequent motion on this. So I'll read the motion again, that we received the report, CLK 2020-25, Lake Roslyn Road parking restrictions feedback prepared by Sarah Johnson and Greg Ferdiney, and approves no further parking restrictions along Road 1. All those in favor of that motion? Okay, opposed? Okay, so that motion's defeated. So now we have a subsequent motion moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Elphick, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton hereby receives report number CLK 2020-28, Lake Roslyn Road 1 parking restriction feedback update prepared by Sarah Johnson, Junior Deputy Clerk, and Greg Ferdiney, Director of Operations, and in doing so approves a bylaw coming forward to amend the consolidated traffic and parking bylaw in order to eliminate no parking on the west side of Lake Roslyn Road 1 from the corner of Lake Roslyn Road 1 and 2, heading north the corner of Road 1 and 6, and further that appropriate signage be installed once all the necessary approvals are in place. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, that motion is carried. Okay. All right, the soccer field drainage, moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor Lifeso, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton hereby approves report number REC 2020-13, request for proposal results REC RFP 2020-02, soccer fields drainage improvements prepared by Mark Coleman, Director of Community Services, and in doing so approves a bylaw coming forward to accept the proposal from TDS Drainage Systems in the amount of $74,515, excluding HST. Okay, any questions for Mr. Coleman? Councillor Adams.
Not really a question, just to make sure that everyone on council knows that we did get a grant, and Trish confirmed it. We got an OTF grant for 88,000, and it should cover the cost of the drainage for this year, 74,000. So that's good news.
Yeah, very good news. Okay, all those in favor? Or Deputy Mayor Gierzak, did you have a question? No, you're.
Thank you, Mayor Peabody. Maybe just a related question. With respect to not having soccer being played on those fields this year, have we done anything to recuperate those fields, get them growing stronger than they had in the past?
Good evening, Council, and through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we have been maintaining the fields. We did aeration and fertilizer in the spring. We've been doing irrigation through the dry periods this summer on certain weeks when there was dry weather. There is quite a noticeable improvement from the drainage works done last year. So we're pleased with the results and with the design standard that was used last year, and look forward to moving forward with that for the remaining two fields.
Thank you.
Okay, so back up. Do that once again. All those in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. Okay, the pool. Moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Atchin, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton hereby receives report number REC 2020-14 tender results for RFT REC 2021 Centennial Park Pool prepared by Mark Coleman, Director of Community Services, and doing so authorizes a bylaw coming forward to accept the tender from Ontario Pool Coatings Incorporated in the amount of $133,480, excluding HST, for the restoration of Centennial Park Pool, and further that the additional $15,480 be transferred from the Recreation Reserve Fund in order to complete the work, ensuring the pool is ready for the 2021 season. Any questions from council? Councillor Hutchin, then Councillor Lang.
Thank you. Is there any way this work can be done this fall so that the pool is closed and ready to go first thing in the spring?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the work is proposed to start immediately upon approval, starting on September 1st.
Okay, I missed that. Thank you.
And to be complete within 3 weeks' time.
Wonderful.
Very good, Councillor Lang.
Just more of a comment. I just wanted to thank Mark. Mark, on his week off, was able to be a part of our rec meeting last week via Zoom and explain this thoroughly and the process for our pool, and that moving forward that we won't need yearly or every other year touch-ups to the pool to keep it functional. So I appreciate the research and the detail and the report, Mark, and look forward to the end result of this. This is exciting. Good job. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Elphick.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, it was a great report again. I thought that it was a lot of detail in there, which was helpful for myself getting some background. I just had one question though around the lifespan. So it's a significant amount of dollars going into the pool, but I'm just wondering what it would allow us to come out with. We're looking at a 10-year run before we should expect any large capital costs like this again.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, it is a 10-year warranty that comes with the product. We've not had the best of luck in recent years with the waterline tile repairs. They don't stand up very good to outdoor pool climates. They work for indoor, but not very good for outdoor. So this is a significant outlay of capital now. And the thermoplastic system does stand up to cold temperatures and helps seal the concrete for the effects of moisture. So I would expect a much greater longevity to this work, and as well significantly reduced potentially operating maintenance costs in terms of chemicals and such. So.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Adams.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again to Mark. Popped off a question with regards to it. As Mark said, it's a lot of money. But this is pretty major work for the pool, and the pool has not had a lot of money spent on it over the years. So I think this is going to be a really nice refurb of the pool, Mark. And Mark checked out, I think, 3 references. Again, it's a lot of money, but there are very few people that do the work based on what Mark found out. Very few people do this work, the extensive amount of work. And so I think we're going to have a pretty nice pool next spring for our opening. Look forward to that. Thank you, Mark, for doing that background check for us.
Okay, very good. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. COVID funding, moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Elphick, that the Council of Select Brockton hereby approves report number FIN 2020-2026 municipal COVID operating funding announcement phase 1 prepared by Trish Sertori, CFO, and in doing so authorizes the CFO to establish a COVID safe restart reserve fund to transfer additional funding for future cost operating pressures as required by the federal provincial governments. Okay, any questions about that? No? Okay, so it's very good news. So I'd like to thank both levels of government for providing that funding. I certainly know that we will use that to cover some of our losses. Compared to some of the other municipalities, we're in very good shape. We didn't have transit system losses. We didn't have casino revenue losses. So I think taxpayers can rest assured that going into budget, this money it puts us in somewhat better shape than we might have been. So it's very good news. So I'd like to thank both levels of government. All those in favor? Okay, that's carried. CDCF, moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Hutchin, that the Council of Municipality of Brockton hereby receives report number FIN 2020-27 CDCF entrance update prepared by Trish Sertor, CFO, for information purposes, and by doing so authorizes the full payment of the CDCF entrance project loan as requested by the committee and authorizes the transfer from reserve fund as requested. Okay, so some good news there. Any comments? Councillor Elphick and Councillor Adams.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. I think that this is a commendable community exercise that was undertaken here. It's an absolutely beautiful facility that we have in our community. And I just wanted to really send a congratulations to the hardworking volunteers that made this happen. And it's, they came in on time, they committed to everything that they did with the municipality. And I think it's a wonderful showcase in our community. So just congratulations.
Yes. Councillor Adams.
I read this report and the first words I had was, wow, what an impressive accomplishment by that group. I mean, they worked tirelessly throughout, And I'm not sure what the original repayment schedule was, but absolute kudos to them. And I think it would be very appropriate for this council and the mayor to sign a letter of accommodation. Thanks and appreciation to the committee. Volunteer time, outstanding job, on time and money ahead of time. This is the template that you would hope that we would see. And it's so hard for them, all the time they spent. I'm just so impressed. And as I said, I just read it and I said, wow. And I'd love to see us write a letter to them, thanking them for their contribution and just acknowledging the absolutely outstanding work that they've done.
Okay. Great idea. So Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, through you, Mayor Peabody, I'd be quite happy to use one of our beautiful Brockton cardstock and have something prepared, and I can leave that in the council mailbox area so that each council member can sign, and I'll be very happy to send that along to that group.
Yeah, everybody be happy to write a little note of congratulations. It's such a good news story. Councillor Lang?
Yeah, I won't say much more than what Tim and Steve have already said. I've had the pleasure to sit as a council representative for that committee since I joined council, and what a remarkable group of people and determined. They sit down every meeting, and there's such goal-oriented people to get to the end, and they even through the challenges of change in staff when planning for this still battled through to meet their goals. And yeah, I won't say much more than what Tim said. I'm pretty proud of this group to be a part of them, and I think it's fantastic what they've done, not just for them, but for our municipality and the facility now that we have to offer because of them.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lang, and thank you for those kind words from everybody. It certainly is remarkable, and I'd like to congratulate the group. It's just a fantastic effort, and thank you very much to our treasurer, Sarah Torre, for working with the group and guiding them along through the whole process, and as well as our Parks and Rec staff, Mr. Coleman, for working with the whole group. So it's a great news story. So that caps off our report. So we seem to have lots of good news at this council meeting. So I'll call the question, and then Councillor Adams, do you have a comment first, though?
Yeah, I think you deserve some credit as well, Mayor Peabody, because I think we had a span between rec directors or supervisors, and I think you jumped in, and I think you were our rep for a while before James came on, I think. So kudos to what you did too.
Just a tiny bit.
Now you were there, so good work for you.
But, okay, call the question then. All those in favor? Okay, and then be sure to sign that congratulations letter that Ms. Hamilton will prepare. On to the accounts. Moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor Lifeso, that the council facility bargain approve payment of the accounts in the amount of $1,917,504.93. Okay, any questions about the accounts? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay.
Mayor Peabody, can I ask a question? Going back to reports.
Yeah.
I ran hard copy on Sunday, and there was a report 7.2. I was jotting some things down. Did that end up being dealt with? Maybe Fiona can help us with that.
It's the
Yes.
motion that we amended, right?
Yes, through you, Mayor Peabody. That was the report relating to the Pleasure Valley Road petition. Right. And we began our meeting with the motion to amend the agenda for that item to actually be considered not on this agenda, but the September 8th agenda, so that the individuals involved in that matter would have an opportunity to participate and present as delegations.
Thank you. I thought maybe we missed it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so September 8th. Councillor Hutchin?
Public notifications haven't been.
There's lots of those. Thank you. Lots of those tonight. Okay, so public notification. Item 8.1 is that tomorrow night, 7, there'll be the Graybers Health Unit. Medical Officer of Health will be doing a Facebook Live with parents and guardians of school children. So a very critical topic in every committee in Ontario. I've had lots of parents and grandparents ask questions about this. It's not our jurisdiction, but certainly the schools, everybody is concerned about them and about the plan. Right now, Dr. Era, I have asked him lots of questions, bouncing questions off him about this. He released today that he was quite excited. There's 0 active cases in all of Great Bruce. So right now, the epidemiology for going back to school, the conditions there are excellent in the community, but of course, people have to keep on top of things and not be complacent and continue doing all the personal protective measures that are needed for COVID. And so I think I'll certainly be tuning in, even though I don't have any school children, to watch that. Okay, we've got McGivern Street reconstruction will be occurring until mid-November in front of the hospital in Bruce Lee Haven. We've got the notice of construction on Bruce County Road 3, as well on Bruce County Road 4. Okay, so those are public notifications. On to a request for raising a flag. Councillor Elphick has declared a conflict of interest on this. So moved by Councillor Adams, second by Councillor Lang. Council Municipality of Brockton hereby approve raising the Labour Council's Labor Day flag on the community flagpole located on Jackson and Yonge in Walkerton for a period of 1 week beginning September 4th to September 11th in recognition of Labor Day, September 7th, 2020. Okay, are there any questions about that request from the Labour Council? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Okay, on to our information items, moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Hutchin, that the Council Municipality of Brockton hereby receives all items provided in Section 11, information. Are there any information items there people would like to flag? No? Okay, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to the bylaws, moved by Councillor Lang, seconded by Councillor Lyso. The Council Municipality of Brockton authorizes the following bylaw be read a third and final time and be enacted, signed, sealed as followed. 2020-77 cooling municipal drain bylaw. All those in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. We have a package of bylaws moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Elphick, that the Council Municipality of Brockton authorize that the following bylaws be read, enacted, signed, sealed, and numbered as followed. Bylaw 87, amend procedural bylaw. 88, ISIP Rural and Northern Stream Transfer Payment Agreement bylaw. 89, amend Westario Power Site Plan Control Agreement bylaw. Bylaw 90, Land Use Development Process Management Review Tender Acceptance bylaw. 91, Soccer Fields 3 and 4 Drainage Proposal Acceptance bylaw. Bylaw 92, Walkerton Centennial Pool Tender Acceptance bylaw. Bylaw 93, amend 236-9906 Ontario Inc. Site Plan Control Agreement bylaw. Okay, all those in favor of those bylaws? Okay, that motion is carried. The committee minutes, moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Hutchin, that the Council Municipality of Brockton receive the minutes of the following committees and/or boards as presented. Cargill District Community Fund Committee minutes, January 21st, 2020. Any questions about those minutes? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, that motion is carried. Okay, now we are into business brought forward by councillors. Okay, Councillor Lang.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Peabody. This is more an information, and I'm not sure if any other councillors have been contacted at all by this, but we've had the, and I've discussed this with Sonia and Mayor Peabody. I just wanted all of council to be aware of this, that there's been many residents rurally that are in our rural area that have contacted me about their water and their ability to be tested. And our hospital in town here did have that option up until the COVID-19, and then they were minimizing the individuals that were going to be coming in and out of the hospital, so they went away from that. And they did revise a plan that the next nearest one would be to the very west of us would be the Sobeys and Kincardine, and then to the very furthest east would be Markdale, and then one to the north to Owen Sound. So it was an understanding that it was right now just through the COVID time. But then I've learned that there is no plan for that testing to return to the hospital. And I reached out to the Walkerton Clean Water Center and spoke to some of their staff. And again, I know Mayor Peabody's been working with this. This is again just for information for our council, that we have a location in Walkerton for our rural residents to get their drinking water tested. And the Grey Bruce Health Unit has said no, they will use Kincardine, they will use Markdale, or they will use Owen Sound. Now, what maybe the public doesn't know either is that the individual that contacted me was elderly and had to drive to Kincardine before 9 o'clock in the morning. There isn't a window. It has to be, or there is a window. It's between 8 and 9 o'clock at the Sobeys in Kincardine, where there's a higher volume of individuals that are from the city and that are there cottaging, to no fault of nobody, but they're leaving here, driving up early to drop off their testing in Kincardine or Markdale or Owen Sound, wherever they may be. And I think it's something we need here in town, whether it's at the county building. County building is, from my understanding, still not open. I'm not sure what stage they're continuing to roll in, but we're trying to find something for our area that our rural residents can get their water tested locally without having to drive almost an hour to Kincardine or an hour to Markdale and not quite an hour to Owen Sound. So I'm not sure if there's been residents contact. I know a lot of it's through real estate transactions, but there are a lot of rural farms and residents that do like to get their water tested a lot, and not having that in our town, or the option of having it in our town, no fault to us. We just, I think, need to try and lean on the Grey Bruce Health Unit to get that back here for our residents.
Hey, yes, thank you, Councillor Lang, for bringing that forward. We did bring that issue up at the emergency management meeting a week ago. Brought it up rather forcefully, but so Dr. Era and I are now working on a resolution, and he's optimistic that they can work something out for the central area of Grey Bruce, maybe Hanover, maybe Walkerton, but certainly, as you've correctly pointed out, and once again, thank you for bringing this forward and prompting me to action, that whole center area of Grey Bruce is left out of this. So it's an awful long drive just for the water testing. So I think it'll work out once the thing was both the hospitals and the demand on the courier services for testing, because COVID tests were being transferred, couriered to the labs. But certainly an aspect that we can't leave out, the water testing for bacteria in people's water. Okay, other business brought forward. Okay, Councillor Adams.
Maybe just to ask for an update for the next meeting, maybe. We've talked many times about the issue at the corner of Hank Street and Fisher Dairy and schools starting again. I don't know if there's going to be any change in protocol in terms of the students being able to leave the property under COVID. May well be, but I must say that corner looks much better without having people throwing cigarette butts and so on in the corner since February or March. We did pass a motion back in February asking if the municipality could look at a local bylaw. So I'm wondering if that's, I don't think we want to spend a lot of time talking about it tonight. We have in the past. The issue hasn't gone away, and I hope it doesn't become a problem again in a couple of weeks, but maybe we could just, I'm not sure if any, through COVID, there were a lot of priorities, so it probably was pushed to the side, but I'm wondering if there was any update that we could get on on what possibilities we might have to support our residents in that area.
Okay, Ms. Hamilton.
Through you, Mayor Peabody. I do have a draft bylaw started that I have been working on and considering. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to have that bylaw finalized to present for this meeting, but I would have a draft prepared for council's consideration for the September 8th meeting. That is currently the plan at this time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to, I don't know what the protocols are at the school. I know in the elementary schools, the students are to stay in the classroom whole day. Sacred Heart High School, I know they have, starting off week one, period one, they're supposed to stay in period one the entire day. So I don't know if they'll even be allowed out to smoke, but I'll have to see how that plays itself out. It'd be interesting. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I did have something to bring towards council because of the continuing attention about speed bumps. We continue to get requests for more speed bumps, more and more. So we had one over on George Street. Now somebody would like us to take a look at the speeding on Victoria, in front of Sacred Heart Church. There's sort of a blind driveway there where the old manse was, and the old age home there. So I don't know what the proper format is for directing that concern. Do you have any suggestions, Ms. Watson, how we handle these? Speeding seems to be a big topic.
Are they coming directly through you, Mayor Peabody? Are they coming directly to you as counselors? I think if you forward them to Greg to attend to, staff have been talking about some communities that have been doing more of a community campaign. Greg had brought up one from Niagara region. I even noticed, Hanover through the Police Services Board are doing local signs. There are concerns with sign pollution, but maybe something larger on getting the community involved. I don't know, is something we need to be looking at if this is ongoing.
Yeah. Now, is there I just wondered about the speed limits on some of these residential streets. Is there, I know they're 50, but isn't there some computer program out there? I don't think we have it where you run like a Google picture of your streets through and they determine if 50 is okay or if it should be 40. There's something like that out there.
I would have to refer that to Greg. I'm not aware of anything, but it's something we can look at if there's a bigger solution.
Councillor Alford?
Yeah, my comment is around sort of, I think through you, Mr. Mayor, the CAO brought this up around sign pollution and stop sign fatigue. I think that if you look in these areas, the Victoria Street corridor, there's a number of stop signs, and I'm not sure if council has given full consideration to the redevelopment of the Colborne Street Walker in Public. A lot of those intersections are all four-way stops. It locks up a lot of traffic. And when drivers have to hit a stop sign at every single block, I think they're more anxious to keep moving. So maybe it's like council needs to consider sort of a traffic review, how traffic is flowing throughout the town. We have a number of, McGivern's under construction right now, so that's traffic being redirected. Large volumes are going down Yonge and then subsequently to Jackson, so other vehicles are going straight there and picking up Victoria and going straight down. Downtown is busy. It's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's becoming increasingly congested. So cars are working their way and drivers are working their way to find different ways to move through the town of Walkerton. And it might be time again that council looks at where we should be directing traffic, both primary and secondary roadways, to ensure they can flow through the town efficiently. Because I think this is a result of a lot of signage, slowing cars and stopping cars too frequently. To the point that they're essentially speeding through the town.
Okay. All right, I'll direct that concern to Mr. Fertney.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to move in camera, moved by Councillor Lang, signed by Councillor Lifeso, that we enter into closed session at 7:55 in order to address several matters. One, personnel matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, the staffing update, proposed pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board property access negotiation, position, plan, procedure, criteria, or structure to be applied to any negotiation carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, service agreement renegotiation, amendment to subdivision agreement. All those in favor? Okay. Motion is carried. Okay, so we'll now leave this live recording to go in camera. Where's Steve? There he is. Tim.
It's getting cold. It's getting cold out here.
Oh, it's the opposite in here. There's no ventilation in here.
It's warm.
Oh, this is totally against health and safety guidelines on the ventilation.
Do they
Okay.
turn the air conditioning off at night?
Yeah, there's no air exchange right now at all.
Programmed, wow.
7 o'clock, it pretty much gets shut down.
We thought you were.
I'm not
we
sure why I
thought
thought
you-
wearing a sweater was a good idea tonight, but I'm dying a little bit. That's why my face is so red.
Where's Steve? You back? Steve? Okay, so we got, we'll start recording. Maybe we'll wait for Steve there.
Can you guys hear me? Because I can see everyone else.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Okay, you're back. All right, so
There you go.
here we go. I'd like to welcome everybody back to our open session of the council meeting. So we have 3 motions following our closed session. First motion moved by Councillor Elphick, second by Councillor Lang, that the council of municipality of Brockton hereby approves the direction provided to staff in closed session and accepts with regret the retirement of inside-outsider maintainer Nadine Thomas with regret effective October 20th. Accepts with regret the resignation of Parks and Recreation maintainer Jay Gaiman effective August 31st, and Buddy Wilkin, part-time landfill attendant, July 28th, and further approves moving forward with recruitment efforts for the position of facilities and parks coordinator as soon as possible. Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Confirmation of proceedings moved by Deputy Mayor Gierzak, seconded by Councillor Hutchin. That the Council of Municipality of Brockton authorize that the following bylaw be read and acted, signed, sealed, numbered as followed. 2020-94, August 25th, 2020, confirmatory bylaw. All those in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Now we have a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Lang, seconded by Councillor Lifeso. Council of the Municipality of Brockton is now adjourned at 9:48 p.m. to meet again September 8th. All those in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and good night.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Hope you're not locked out of the house, James.